Hey guys, welcome to Crisscross Media, where we are going to be speculating Episode 8. Rumors, ideas, news. We did a part 1 where we talked about who Rey is, what Luke Skywalker's role might be, a little bit about Snoke, some stuff about Anakin's ghost, and a lot about Maz Kanata. Today we're going to be talking about Kylo Ren and the relationship he has with his mother, Leia. We're going to talk about Finn, Poe, and even Phasma. And we're going to talk about stuff that we really want to see in Episode 8, and also what we think the movie should be called. So let's start with Kylo and Leia. So we understand that he hasn't seen his mother in a while. She's been looking for him. She still sees light in him, which was an overarching theme. He obviously killed Han, so she knows this now.
Mm-hmm. By the way, he totally walked into that. I think we agree on the fact that he should have known when Kylo's like, oh, I need your help, but I don't know if I have the strength.
That's the thing. I think Han knew that. And that's why you could see in his eyes.
Yeah. And also, I would love to bring up the fact that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, they never have handrails. Dude, for real. In like most of this stuff, there's like a 40,000 foot drop into an abyss, and there's nothing to protect you from falling in.
So Leia, she is a Skywalker. She is Force sensitive. She has the Force. We've never seen her use the Force.
Well, technically no, but she feels when relatives die or when they're in
when Han passed away and stuff like that. But do you think we're going to see her interact with the Force more or have some sort of Jedi-like role in the next one? Will she interact with Kylo in a way?
I think that if she does use the Force, it's not going to necessarily be for telekinesis or anything like that, as much as more of a premonition where people use the Force to see what's going to happen, or she uses it to check in on Kylo, and that's how she knows the entire time that there's still light in Kylo. But at the end of the movie, you don't know for sure if she still holds that belief because she can feel that he just offed her hubby.
It really reminded me of when Padme, one of her last spoken words was, "There is good in him. I can feel it." It was almost the same written line. I do think that Kylo will eventually turn good. I don't think he's going to die. Something's going to happen either to him or to Rey, which I do believe they're cousins. If she ends up being Luke's daughter, they're cousins. And I have this theory, because in terms of Star Wars, the middle one's always the darkest. Whenever you do trilogies, the second one's always the darkest.
I thought you meant like the second child, or like the second...
No. It leaves you kind of a cliffhanger, a lot of unanswered questions. So by the end of Episode 8, we're going to have even more unanswered questions. But I think that Rey is going to turn dark. And I think that Kylo is going to be the one to turn dark. And it would not surprise me if they actually switched. Kylo turned good and Rey turned bad.
I don't think Rey's going to turn bad. I think Luke Skywalker is going to turn bad.
I thought that too, actually. That he's going to sacrifice himself somehow.
Because they never explicitly state why Snoke is looking for Luke Skywalker. And if Snoke is Plagueis and he does have this ability to manipulate midichlorians, then he may have the ability to possess Luke Skywalker's body, and he's looking for a Skywalker because they have the strongest tethering to the Force, which would make an easier transition for him to use this ability. So he's looking for Luke Skywalker because Kylo isn't strong enough for him to possess. So at the end of the movie, when he says, "We're going to have to finish your training," I think that either means that he's going to teach him something new, or he's going to attempt to possess Kylo's body, and then Luke's going to have to step in to try to save him. Or he's going to try and use Kylo to get a hold of Rey so that he can possess her body because she has more power than Kylo, and Luke's going to sacrifice himself, and then he's going to get possessed by Plagueis.
Exactly. And I think that's why he's been in hiding, because Luke is not one to hide.
Nope.
But he realizes that he is the bigger threat.
He's a target.
And that's why he's not afraid. He realizes that he could be a terrible puppet. Sidious knew that. Vader knew that. That's why he's on this Holy Land, because no one can really touch him there.
Yeah, if you're a Sith, that's the last place you can go.
Absolutely. So that's actually a really good point. So Finn and Poe, we don't learn much about them. We learned that Finn was a stormtrooper taken as a young child, like any stormtrooper. But there's a lot of rumors that he could be an offspring of someone. You want him to be Mace Windu's offspring.
I would really love for him to be Mace Windu's offspring.
Because you don't know Mace died. He may have, he may not have.
Well, when you look at the actual abilities of Mace Windu, getting his hands cut off and thrown out of a building is not necessarily going to kill the guy. He was
electrocuted.
Yeah.
He was electrocuted too, though.
Not a whole lot, though. A decent amount. He wasn't crispy. He was just a little cooked. But when you see what he actually could do during the Clone Wars, his abilities, it wouldn't surprise me if he survives and there's a theme to get your hands cut off in Star Wars. They could just pop new ones on. and he's...
Which it is a theme within the Star Wars movies. It's always, within the trilogy, the second movie in the trilogy, someone gets their hand chopped off. So someone's going to get in this new one, which I don't know who it's going to be. So Poe Dameron, he is the elite X-Wing pilot. He's this kind of hero. He's amazing. You had the theory that maybe he's Force sensitive. I don't think so. But you said because he's such a good pilot, there may be...
Yeah, they kind of go out of their way to show how amazing of a pilot he is. I think he takes out 7 or 8 ships in a row within 5 seconds during the scene where they're trying to rescue Han Solo and Chewie and them. So within the Star Wars universe, whenever someone has this reactive ability that's above normalcy, it's usually an indicator of some kind of Force sensitivity. Now, do I think he's going to be a Jedi Knight? No. But I do think that he has some kind of innate ability that hasn't been touched yet.
See, and that's where I disagree, because Han Solo was also a sharpshooter. He was also a really good pilot. To me, it doesn't mean that they're going to be Force sensitive, but I don't know if they're going to explore his backstory. And I really want to see more of him and Finn. I think they had a really good kind of buddy cop feel. And then Phasma is a character that puzzled a lot of people. I didn't really mind the limited screen time this character had, but in marketing and in toys and a lot of product placement, this character was shown to be this really important character, and then in the movie has a very minor role. Do you think that you're never going to see this character again? It was kind of like a Boba Fett type situation where it's kind of mysterious. But then again, Boba Fett didn't really go off as like... There's a lot of angry fans saying that she gave up too easy. She had a gun to her head and she kind of like, okay, I'm sorry, like I'll give you whatever you guys want. Or do you think that maybe she is going to pop up again and really kick some ass?
Oh, she's going to come back with a vengeance, I think. I think she's either going to be still within the Empire, or she's going to be disavowed and going on her own to try to get some kind of honor reclaim back.
Because you had a theory I liked really, that she becomes a bounty hunter.
Yeah, I could see her becoming a bounty hunter. That now that she's been disbanded from the Empire, she now has to use her abilities to try and make a living. And I mean, within the same breath, I think she will try to go after Finn in some regard.
Now, okay, so jumping to the next point, and you guys can comment down below of what you guys want to see. What is something that you really, really want to see in Star Wars Episode VIII?
You first.
One thing I really want to see, and I know it kind of backtracks a little, I would love to see some Force Ghosts. I would love to see either a Force Ghost of Anakin Skywalker, which the theory that he splits into 2, I think it'd be really cool to see the light side of his Force Ghost and the dark side. I would also like to see Yoda, and I think that both can play a really big role in influencing Kylo. If he were to actually see Vader or Anakin, I think it'd be really interesting for the fans to see Yoda. There's always that character that gives the main protagonist some sort of a push within the Star Wars universe, and to see Yoda, I think, would be very, very powerful.
Yeah, he's an OG.
He's OG, which I'm very interested to see how they handle Yoda if they're going to go puppet, because he was CGI throughout the prequels, and then in the original trilogy was a puppet, and then now the sequel trilogy, will they make him like an old school puppet that is Force Ghost, or will they make it CGI that kind of looks kind of puppety? I don't know, but I would love to see Yoda. What about you?
I want to see underneath the Jedi Temple, the Cave of Jedi, where they find their crystal to create their lightsaber. So what I want to happen, I know it's not technically supposed to be on that planet, but underneath the Jedi Temple, during the training, Luke has Rey go under the temple, and she goes into the cave where the Force guides you to find whatever crystal you're supposed to have for your lightsaber, and we actually get to see the process of a Jedi getting their crystal, because it's supposed to be a huge ceremony, but they've never done it in any of the actual movies. They've done it in some of the side stories. But I think it would be really cool for her to get it, and I want it to be a different color that hasn't necessarily been overused in the previous ones, such as the green, the blue, the red.
A gold or a white would be
great. Gold or white, that would be
like the
so
purest,
awesome.
The purest form. And
yep.
Now, last question, and this is for you guys down below too. What should this newest episode be called? Rise of the First Order? Might sound kind of cool.
Rise of the First Order? That'd be pretty cool. I think it should just be Star Wars Episode VIII, Rey blank. Rey Skywalker, Rey Kenobi, so we can get over this stuff and everyone can just be happy about what her last name is because it's in the title, and there would be no arguments.
Okay. Like those little stickers you get at parties where it says like name and you have to
Hi, my name is.
My name is.
And she's got to put the whole thing though.
Episode 8. Hi, my name is. I like that. Well, thanks again, guys, for listening to our Episode 8 speculation. Check out Part 1. We have the links down below. Let us know what you guys want in Episode 8, and also let us know what the title of Episode 8 should be. Thanks again. I'm Chris.
Joe.
And you've just been Chris Cross. Peace out.